I guess there's a bit of bad guy in us all, you know? When you've played bad guys and bad guys and bad guys, it makes a change to play the good guy. You want to play the good guy. When I play the bad guy, I always think of him as the good guy. Just finding other things in people, because we've all got it in us.
Thanks for coming on a Sunday, and not only on a Sunday, but also West Ham are about to kick off as well.
Oh, that's a right liberty, really.
Yeah.
And you got nothing better to do.
Let's go way back to the early days. You've written this book called Young Winstone. I'm
kind of pleased with it. It's very difficult reading something that it's about you. You know what I mean? It's like saying, I love that bit.
Sure.
Well, you know, I mean, it's about me, isn't it? You know.
But
so how do you cope with it? I always find it a little bit embarrassing, you know.
You talk about particularly the importance of boxing early on. The Repton Boxing Club is a legendary place, and the fact that boxing gave you confidence.
Yeah, I think more than anything, as you probably know, my classical training wasn't all that, and I think it was a confidence thing with me as well, and a respect thing, a respect not only for the people that you're going to work with and your opponent, if you like, in the boxing sense, but for yourself, you know. I think I learnt that through boxing, and I think I'd taken that into my working life, you know.
Mm. Was there one film or one actor or something that you thought, oh, that's the kind of thing, I want to do that?
It was Albert Finney. I loved Albert Finney.
Yeah.
You know, it was Michael Caine's as well. I mean, all those kind of actors, Richard Harris.
Yeah.
You know, they were kind of real, they were gritty, you know. When I was at drama school for a year, I got a job at the National Theatre.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I was a National Theatre player, but I actually was working in the wardrobe department. And I took over looking after Albert Finney, who was, you know, blinded. He was a proper geezer, you know. Yeah. And he was doing Hamlet at the time, and I used to sit and watch him do Hamlet, and, you know, he made it real. You know, I'd seen, whoa, all this going on, all this palaver. And Albert Finney, you know, just actually made you want to do Shakespeare, and you understood it. I remember I made him late on stage one night, and he came running off. He was doing the mad scene, and I said, how's it going, Albert? He said, yeah, it's going really well, you know. And he started talking to me, and he missed his cue in Shakespeare, and I thought, you know, I better get out of here. At the time, it was the Old Vic, and it was next door to where the bar was, and I was in there having a drink, and Albert came in, and I see him come in, and I ducked down. And I crawled between all the stools, and I see him go that way, and I thought, I'm out of here. And I got to the end, and I came up, and he was standing there. I don't know how he done it. And he went, he called me a see you next Tuesday, and then he bought me a drink. It was all right. But
I guess the thing we all saw you in first was Scum, followed soon by Quadrophenia. What was the key to getting that role in Scum? Do you remember?
The way I walked down the corridor.
Was it?
Nothing to do with acting at all. It wasn't, and that's what Alan Clark told me as well. It's funny because when you don't think about the camera, you just do the natural things. Literally, I was the last one in to see him, and he came out with me, and he watched me walk down the corridor, and I walked like a boxer, like a fighter, you know. And that's how I got the part.
In the book, you say something about how after you did Scum and Quadrophenia, you couldn't sit there and go, I'm happy with that, until Nil by Mouth, all those years later. Is that right?
I guess that goes for every actor, though. I think if you're ever satisfied with what you do, then, you know, something wrong with you, you know. For me, Nil by Mouth, Gary again is a great teacher, you know. I'd go as far to say he's the best for an actor. I'm not talking about filming and things, but for an actor, the best director I've ever worked with.
Oh, really? Wow.
He let me go. He let me off the leash, I think. We played with alcohol, you know, and we used to just have a little taster in the morning, right, when we got to work. We used to get an old beer and go roll it about in the mouth and spit it out. You had that taste of alcohol in your mouth, you know? But for these scenes, we sat down and said, oh, are you going to look after me? You know, because I'm going to get on it. And I'm going to just tell the story, you know? It's a funny old play, you can't get too pissed. If you get too pissed, then you're out of control. But you just get to a level, whether that's right or wrong or not, I don't know whether that's called acting, but we're doing cinema. You know, we're not doing a car chase movie, we're doing a film about people's lives, and you have a responsibility. I feel you have a responsibility to that, you know? I didn't particularly want to be an actor when I'd done Scum and that. You kind of think, you know, this has got something to say. Yeah. I know it sounds really arty, that, doesn't it? It really does. But I feel really comfortable when I'm in a film like The War Zone, or you're trying to educate in a way. And I feel quite good about that, you know?
Yeah. The next film that I think kind of really hit home was Sexy Beast, which kind of managed to be incredible fun to watch it and kind of say a lot. And was it as much fun making it? Do you imagine much fun making it? Yeah.
I got there 2 weeks early. I said, "What do you want me here 2 weeks early for? What we do?" They said, "We just want you to eat as much pasta and drink as much vodka as you want." Beautiful, okay. I'd lay in the sun, you know, get brown and all that. I had my Speedos on.
You spent much of the film in your Speedos, I was going to say.
I was like a proper Italiano. Yeah. I was, We were like a little mob, you know, on the Costa Brava. Yeah. You know?
And Ben Kingsley, of course, famously...
Well, I was coming to him.
Okay.
Benny.
I'm sorry, I'll let you get to it.
And Benny, he turned up. He was late getting in, and it kind of worked with the movie because we were waiting for Don.
Yeah.
And then he finally turned up, and he'd been working, don't forget, on another movie. And he's turned up, and we've had a little party for him when he's turning up that night, and it's all going off, and the music's playing and that. And he walks in, and he started talking like a Londoner, right, Ben. And I thought, what's he doing? What's he talking like that for? He don't talk like that. He's posh. He just turned into this incredible Don Logan, because originally I was offered the part. Right. And I'm glad I never done it, right? Yeah. Because this genius come along. We were on the same page. Yeah. And it's hard to say with a geezer who played Gandhi, you know. I've got Gandhi beating me up.
As time goes on, you're kind of working with more and more of the best directors and actors out there. The Departed.
He was staying in the Dorchester. He likes a nice hotel, Marty. Yeah. But it was on a Sunday, like it is today. Yeah. Right? So I thought, I can get up the West End quick, see Marty, and get home for Sunday dinner. Nice, I can do that. Went in with Marty, and I was up to play one of the cops. Oh, right. So we sit down, he went, so kid, you know, what do you think of the character? And we had a chat for about 45 minutes, and I'm starving, you know. But we were having a great chat, because he could talk about anything. And he said, so yeah, you want to play this part? I said, no. I said, I'd like to play Mr. French. He said, he doesn't say anything. I said, but he will. And he said, yeah. You know, the scenes with him and Costello, that's when you get to find out about Costello. And he wrote all this character, and he just let me make it up. And then we'd make it up, and Jack would do something else, and we'd make something else up. And that's how French come about. I didn't want to play a cop anyway, I wanted to be the bad guy. You know, you feel very easy, but even though you're not the lead or anything like, to coming up with ideas. You know, he doesn't use every idea you come up with. Greatest directors I've worked with allow you to do that. Mm.
When The Departed comes on TV, do you watch it back? Do you watch
not
yourself?
Really, no. I love watching the films once they're made. Yeah. I think you should watch them. I think you owe that to the people you've worked with to watch what you do.
You've done all different kinds of films. Very interesting, unusual one is Beowulf, which was one of these motion capture
I
ones.
trained and trained for that movie. What are you laughing at? That is my favourite way of making a film.
Is it?
I've got to be honest with you, you're not doing animation, you're in a room. It's like doing a play that's being filmed, and you play the whole scene. There's probably 180 cameras, computerised cameras around you. So you play out the scene. But your imagination just explodes because you haven't got the castles there, you haven't got the dragons. And you play it. You're playing it with Anthony Hopkins, you're playing it with Brendan Gleeson, you know, and you're kissing Angelina.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, so, you know, it's all right.
Robert Zemeckis directed that. You worked with Steven Spielberg, I wanted to mention.
It was Indiana Jones I done because it was Steven Spielberg. I want to work with Steven Spielberg. Of course you do. It was a film my kids could actually go and watch without me swearing if they're blind, you know.
Let's mention some of the stuff you're coming up. You're doing the remake of Point Break.
Yeah, I'm playing Pappas in it.
You know, that's such a kind of iconic film. Do you think, oh, you know, shouldn't do that? Or is it, no, this is going to be good, you're going to do it?
No, it pays the rent.
Okay.
To be honest with you, and good people working on it, as usual. But it's been going on. I feel like I've been on it 3 years, and I ain't, you know, but you've been travelling to places like, well, I've been in Berlin, all over Europe, and I've been to Tahiti, and I'm going to Venezuela in a couple of weeks to finish it off. And, you know, I've had enough now. I've done it now, you know. The travelling actually slaughters you.
Yeah, no, I bet. Yeah.
You know, it's such a tough life, I've got to tell you.
Of course. Unfortunately, that is all we've got time for. So I want to thank you all for coming on a Sunday.
Oh,
and particularly to thank Ray Winstone. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.